Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a masterclass from Dr. Ari Masayuti that's all about the psychology of communication for aesthetic practitioners. And let me be clear, this isn't about sales tactics. It's about the science of connection, how you guide a patient from a place of uncertainty to a really confident yes. So let's start with a paradox, one that probably keeps a lot of really talented practitioners like you up at night. You've got the skills to work miracles. To literally change lives. But here's the thing. Before you can transform how someone looks, you have to get really good at transforming a conversation.
And the problem is really clear when you look at it this way. Your clinical skill set, A+, no question. You've put in the years, the training, the hard work. But what about your conversion skill? That crucial ability to turn a simple consultation into a committed patient. That was the one class they just never offered in medical school.
Okay, so let's build your playbook. And the absolute foundation of everything is trust. But here's the catch. It is won or lost way faster than you probably think. This is it. 180 seconds. 3 minutes. That is the entire window you have to win a patient's trust. See, their subconscious mind is running this super sophisticated risk assessment from the moment they meet you. And most practitioners, what do? They treat it like a medical intake. That is a huge mistake. This is a psychological dance, not a clipboard questionnaire. So how do you do that? Well, one of the most powerful techniques to just dissolve a patient's skepticism right away is by using what are called indisputable truths. This creates something psychologists call compliance momentum. It's where every small agreement you get makes the next yes that much easier. The difference here is just transformative. Instead of that sterile, "So, what brings you in today?" a statement like this creates an immediate, genuine connection. It's an empathetic observation that taps into a feeling almost everyone has had. The yes you get back isn't just an answer, it's the very beginning of a partnership. Now for the core playbook. You have to understand that successful consultations aren't just random conversations. They actually follow a very specific psychological architecture. And this 4-step framework is designed to turn that hesitation into confident, decisive action. This structure, which is inspired by the legendary hypnotherapist Milton Erickson, gives you a super clear path to follow. First, you cut through all their mental noise with a hook. Then, you build credibility with truths they already believe. Next, you create an urge for them to take action. And finally, you guide them to a decision that feels like their own with zero pressure. Step 3. Oh man, this is where the magic happens. You introduce a new idea that creates what's called cognitive dissonance. That little bit of mental discomfort we all feel when a new idea challenges an old belief? That discomfort creates an urge for resolution. In a metaphor like this one, it completely reframes their understanding. It's not just filler anymore, it's an active process, a workout for rejuvenation. And all of this leads to step 4, which really shows you the most elegant sales technique there is, one that doesn't feel like selling at all. See, this isn't about closing a deal. It's about something called future pacing, where you guide your patient to mentally step into their desired future and to actually feel the results. You're just helping them visualize the confidence they came to you to find in the first place. So, we have the 4-step playbook. But to make it truly effective, we need to master the unspoken language that's happening underneath every step. You have to remember this. How you say something carries way more weight than what you say. This is all about tuning into your patient's frequency to build a powerful sense of harmony. A really critical part of this is vocal synchronization, matching their pace, their rhythm, and most importantly, using their emotional vocabulary. So when they say they have tired eyes, don't correct them and say, you mean periorbital concerns. No, stay in their emotional language because that is where trust lives. Now for a major mindset shift. Let's talk about mental judo. Most of us see an objection from a patient as a roadblock, right? But it's not. It's actually a gift. The patient is literally telling you their deepest fear. And in doing so, they're handing you the exact roadmap you need to earn their trust. So instead of fighting their resistance, you use its momentum. You can reframe their concern as simply a request for more information. You can validate their logic by partially agreeing with them. Or you can use a what-if pivot to turn their exact concern into the very reason they should move forward. All right, let's bring it all home. Let's look at the specific words that bridge the gap between just a passive conversation and one that truly inspires a patient to embrace change. The energy of your language, that's often the deciding factor. The difference is dramatic. Saying you'll see improvement is so passive and clinical.
It informs, but it doesn't inspire. But saying, imagine feeling that surge of confidence. Now that is active and emotionally resonant. It helps the patient experience the outcome right there in the chair.
And here's another powerful linguistic shift. When they say something is expensive, your first instinct is probably to argue. Don't. You reframe. This honors their concern while moving the conversation away from cost and toward a discussion about value and the return on their investment in themselves. And the crucial point to remember is this: you are not selling a procedure. Your patient is not buying a syringe of filler. They are buying confidence. They are buying freedom from insecurity. Your real job is to guide them from a feeling of uncertainty to one of excitement. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. Your clinical skills are undeniable. They change how people look, for sure. But by mastering these principles of communication, you gain a totally different kind of power. The power to change how people truly feel about themselves. And that, right there, is the real alchemy that builds a thriving practice.